Hello, listeners. This is A-Train, and you are listening to True Crime Undercover. I want to introduce you to the Geico Cavemen of podcasts, the star of the show, Super E.
Hello, everyone.
Also with us today, we have a graduate from the John Fetterman School of Communication, the lovable D-Mania.
That's a lie.
Or the overweight Hawaiian gym neighbors in a robe recklessly thrown open.
Super E, how are you today?
Doing good. Everybody get ready for some fun facts. Here we go.
I just have a few for today.
Okay.
Let's make it one, but go ahead.
There's going to be two.
Okay.
The term cop, C-O-P, was first used in 1844 to refer to the act of arresting somebody.
Really?
Okay. Now,
Okay, that was interesting. Go ahead.
Now, hold on a minute. I had also heard that it stood for Constable on Patrol. Have you heard that?
And I had also heard similar along those lines that back in the English Bobby days, they had those big copper buttons on those uniforms that they wore, which gave them the nickname cops for short.
I had heard that also. Yes.
So I'm not sure which one is right.
So it could be one of those three. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Good
So we
fact.
have a 1 in 3 chance I was right.
Uh-huh.
On my fact. So the second one is in honor of Super E's sister, who apparently loves my facts.
She calls you the dry guy.
Right. So for the last fact of the show today, Confucius always say, "Those who go to bed with itchy butt wake up with stinky finger."
I had heard that. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I think we heard that in first grade. But go ahead.
Hey, that kind of segues into our D-Mania story, doesn't it?
Yes, the vegetation overload. Tell us about it.
What do you want to know?
Oh my God.
Are you afflicted?
Well, I was being something that Super E is not aware of being a man, doing manly things, such as operating a chainsaw. I had to remove some brush that happened to be covered in this green vegetative vine that I was insured by my assisting partner that was not poison ivy or of the poison strain.
That would be your father, who is like he's like a medical person.
Right.
Well, so go ahead.
Later, I have these blotches all over me starting to pop up. I'm like, these really itch.
And you immediately figured STDs from the truck stop.
Yes. So they start spreading, and they spread to certain nether regions. And it's just been an absolute nightmare, and I still have it. It's been 2 weeks.
Okay. Tell the listeners, dry guy, about what you had to do. You had to jump out of the truck. You had to keep going. Tell that part.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You had to jump out of the truck, pull down your drawers, and start scratching.
I don't know that that's radio appropriate.
Well, okay. Well, I'm sorry. Me and A-Train talked about it earlier. And tell them about the wayward fingernail.
That was a showering incident. And during cleaning, a certain area got sliced with a fingernail. It's very uncomfortable.
Oh, my God. Okay, I don't know what P. Diddy party was going on, but he was there after 1 a.m. on the A-Train.
Yeah, it sounds like Dry Guy needs some of that baby oil P. Diddy has.
A-Train, I can hear our listeners turning off their radios right now.
I think they're turning them up.
Yeah, they're turning them up because they cannot believe what they're hearing and reaching for the barf bags.
Well, listen, D-Mania, put some salve on it. So maybe some Neosporin or whatever. And I hope that gets healed up.
I told him
say a prayer.
I told him to soak some toilet paper with rubbing alcohol and dab it on it. It would disinfect it and help heal it, and maybe add a little gunpowder and gasoline.
Why not use a blowtorch as
well? Yeah. That
wear eye protection.
That might smart just a little bit. But you know what? D-Mania said he had a little tale for us. You want to hear that, Super E?
Yes. I have a feeling a canine got indigestion, so let's let him tell the story.
All right. The floor is yours, D-Mania.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to tell a quick story about when I got battered by a four-legged friend.
Okay.
So I was on patrol, like a good cop, and I see a vehicle run a stop sign. So that piqued my interest. I then start following said vehicle. It actually happened to be one of those Astro minivans. Is that Ford Astro minivan?
There'd be a Chevy Astro.
Or Chevy Astro. My bad. So anyway, I'm following it, and it blatantly blows a second stop sign. Like, what is this guy doing? So I activate my emergency lights in an attempt to make a traffic stop, and the vehicle is we're on the side street that leads up to US 40, the major crossroad.
Okay.
So he pulls over just, 100, 150 feet before US 40. I start to open my door to get out of my police vehicle, and this door to the driver's side door to the minivan kicks open, and this dude jumps out, and he starts walking back at me. And I said, "Sir, you need to get back in your vehicle." And he's like pointing to his ear. What? I said, "Sir, you need to get back to your vehicle." He's like, "I can hear you, but I ain't going to do that." He keeps walking on me. So finally, I pull my handgun out, and I pointed at him. I said, "You need to get back in your vehicle now." And at which time he gets back in his vehicle, puts it in drive, and takes off.
You told him to get back in his vehicle.
Yeah, true. So he turns. We're in a town west of Schmerishmote, and he takes off towards that town. So I'm in pursuit. I call it in, got the lights and sirens on. We go into this town, or into the city, and he goes across 41, which is like a major north-south thoroughfare through the city,
right?
And goes down a few blocks and gets in an alley. Well, generally in cities, most alleys are kind of unkept and rough.
Mm-hmm.
And when the alley meets the cross street, there's always that hump.
Right.
Well, this dude is flying down this alley. Like, it was to the point where, like, I was uncomfortable with it. But so I'm continuing to pursue him. He's hitting these at the intersections where the cross street is from the alley. He's like ramping this minivan over the street. It was unbelievable. And I was driving we had a Chevy Blazer that they made into a police car. It was a piece of junk, and I would then hit those humps at the cross street, and I would ramp over it too. Yeah. So we go down several blocks, and the guy slams on the brakes, bails out of the car, and takes off on foot. So I slow my car down, get out, take off on foot, and I've called in the pursuit, and supposedly they have all these backup units coming. Well, he jumps over a yard to a fence, and I majestically leaped over this, chasing this guy. And then I had to do another leap over a fence, which none of my body even touched the fence. Just gracefully cleared it. So we run out. As we're running out into the street, it was kind of like a 4-point intersection. All these city cop cars come swerving swerving in there, and brakes are squealing and lights and sirens everywhere. And I'm still chasing this guy. And all I see is one of the canine officers get out, open the door to his back door of his squad car. And I see this dog, this huge German Shepherd, just running towards us. And I'm thinking and this is years before I was ever a canine officer. And I was thinking, surely that guy knows not to get the guy in the blue uniform.
Yes.
And I think I had my handgun out because this guy, it was unknown what he had. It was reaching in his pockets when we were running, throwing stuff. So we get close to there was a chain link fence coming up on the other side of the main streets after we came out of the yard. I turn my head to the right, and all I see as I'm running was two paws on my shoulder, and this dog latches into the right side of my face.
Oh.
And it was terrifying. And the guy now was like in a dead end, and he was caught. So this dog, I had a fright, like I dropped my gun and I grabbed the snout of the dog and just tore it off my face, tore my face open on the right side, like just kind of forward of my earlobe area. But then the dog decides, well, I need another taste. So it bites me in the side of my stomach area, but right below where your vest is.
Yeah.
And then it released. It bit me in my right butt cheek, and it pulled me down. It pulls me down to the ground and just starts yanking on me. And so the handler finally comes over and gets his dog. Well, the dog, after he got released from me, he broke from the handler and went and bit another officer through the arm. It looked like he got bit by a vampire.
Oh my God.
So anyway, I had to go to the hospital, and I had all these bite wounds. My uniform was tore open, and they did not stitch anything, but they super glued everything shut.
Right.
They said that's what they like to do for dog bites. But yeah, it was absolutely insane.
What did the canine handler say to you after he took the dog off you? Did he apologize?
The defense, he did apologize, but he defended it by saying it was mass chaos. There was probably 15 police cars there, all with their lights and sirens on. And he said the dog couldn't hear my commands and things like that. Well, I was thinking, well, maybe you shouldn't have released the dog then.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because I'm bleeding all over the place.
holy crap. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that was the tale of me getting tore up by.
Okay. Did they pay for all your medical treatment?
They did, but the city ambulance took me to one of the hospitals, and I got personally a bill from the city ambulance for like $600 or $700 wanting me to pay for the medical stuff and the ambulance ride. So I took it to my chief. I said, this is ridiculous. It was their dog that bit me. So he went to that chief of police, and they got it taken care of, and that department paid for everything. So
now, how long did it take for you to heal up from that?
well, I was back to work the next day, but it was, probably 2 weeks to completely heal. But I had, you could tell on my right side of my face, you could tell where it was just absolutely ripped open. It was nasty. Back then, of course, we didn't have picture phones or camera phones, so I never got any pictures of it. But
so
I'm surprised it didn't latch onto that beak.
Always got to be that one guy in the crowd.
Yeah, that one guy. Now, I'll tell you what, that dog is probably lucky that you dropped your gun. What?
Oh,
Yes.
man.
What
Yes.
if you'd had that gun? What do you think?
I don't know. I replay that in my head a lot, but I don't think I would have shot it. Especially now having been a canine handler.
Right.
But I don't know. I think I handled it okay. I ripped it off my face, which immediately tore my face open. But I can tell you what I did not do.
What was that?
I did not immediately get scared, start running and flailing my arms in the air.
Yes.
And look for the nearest car to lock myself inside. I did not do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, who does stuff like that, D-Mania?
Well, we have a certain furry friend that likes to do things like that. That has a long, luscious black hair.
Well, it's kind of gray now, but
Won't mention any names.
Well, this certain person who claimed to be a canine handler apparently did a worse training on his dog than this canine guy that marred your mug. And so,
so what you're saying, D-Mania, Super E is scared of your doggy, right?
Absolutely. That is.
I would kick the shit out of that dog.
Mm.
And you know what? And now it's time. Loser leaves town. Right. Battle to the death cage match.
And next time he's over here, he gets out of his car. He's looking around. You know, like,
I'm going.
Make sure that dog's not around.
I'm going to kick that dog right in its neutered reproductive parts.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
A Train. Do you remember? I remember back in the day, the canine dogs. They knew. Okay, the guys in the blue uniforms you don't fuck with. The dudes that are running and sweating and all that shit. They're the ones to bite.
Well, kind of. I remember there was this time period where there were numerous incidents where officers were getting bit by canines. And
oh yeah, I remember that.
Most of that, it was the officer's fault. They got out of their car when there was a perimeter set up and all that. But I remember when all these incidents of officers getting bit happened, there was an order that came down from the chief, and it said, if you get bit by one of our canines, you take the bite. You better not shoot these dogs. Do you remember that, Super E?
Yeah, I remember they were telling us about that in in-service training. I think you might have been there, A-Train. And they were like saying, okay, if a dog, okay, this is one of the incidents where it wasn't the officer's fault.
Uh-huh.
It were the canine guy let the dog out when he shouldn't have got away from him.
Right.
And it started chewing on the officer's arm, ripping it to shreds. And the officer, I think he shot it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
So when they said that, I was kind of curious. I think I raised my hand. I said, so you're telling me you want us to let the dog just maim our arm and possibly injuring us for the rest? I mean, making it so we can't use that arm because D-Mania, what is the bite pressure that a dog can exert?
I'm not sure. The Shepherds have a stronger bite force than a Malinois, but it's very high. It's very uncomfortable.
So if they were biting on your arm, they could tear up the nerves and everything.
Oh, I have seen suspects get bit by canines and it completely de-sleeve their arm.
Oh my God.
Oh, I have seen some nasty stuff.
Yes.
I think I'm going to pass out right now.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this, D-Mania. You handled yourself, sounds like, really well on that. No panic. Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do is start flailing your arms. So you did a good job, D-Mania. I'm glad you lived to fight another day.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Oh, and that, when a police officer is injured or maybe not in their best light, there's always a news reporter there to take a picture of you.
Oh.
And I remember when I had fallen down, or when the dog pulled me to the ground, I was holding the side of my face with blood all over. The next day, I am on the front page of the newspaper, above the fold, laying on the ground, holding the side of my face with blood all over the place. And there's me.
Okay.
And I still have the article.
D-Mania, we need that picture because it needs to be posted on our podcast. What do you think, Super E? Don't we need that?
I think what he forgot to say then, this is when the dog turned him over and started hunching. And that's when they snapped the picture.
And D-Mania is looking over his shoulder. He has that frightened look on his face.
And then you can see where he's purring. Okay, edit all this.
Oh, no, it's staying in. Okay, that's a good story. I'm glad you weren't permanently maimed. And
I kind of think he was.
No, my face is still model worthy.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Don't scrape it with your fingernails. You know what you do with those.
Right. I trimmed them.
Okay, thank God.
Oh, my gosh. Okay,
end this, A-Train.
All right, I'm going to end it. It's been great talking to you guys. Oh, you know what? I do have one housekeeping note here for our listeners. We need more listeners. So I'm going to ask all of our loyal listeners that listen to us, I'm going to ask that you forward this episode or any other episodes that you'd like to 5 friends to help us get our audience up. What do you think,
and
guys?
Yes, those 5 friends will tell another 5 friends.
Yes, and so on,
Right.
and so on.
Also, don't forget to vote.
Don't forget to vote.
Yes.
Please don't forget to vote.
Yes. I'm tired of eating ramen noodles.
I'm tired of hearing Super E complain about it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, he's not the only one. There's a lot of people complaining. So,
Absolutely.
yep, get to the voting box and do your civic duty. And on that, we're out. See you guys.
Peace.
10-4.
Bye.